If your Samsung wash machine is not completing the cycle, let me show you what to check first.
So this is the Samsung wash machine we're looking at today. If you have one that looks like this, that's kind of slanted, or one with a control panel that's like up and down, if it's a top load Samsung wash machine, it's going to be very similar, no matter which model you have. The only thing you want to check is on the parts to make sure the exact parts you're getting when you do replace the parts. So a lot of time what these machines do, they'll come up with an OL code or something to that degree, or some of the older models, maybe even this model, they'll go to wash, rinse, get to spin, they'll try to spin, and they'll come back to rinse, and then they'll keep restarting itself over and over again. Usually that means you have an off balance load, or your suspension rods are bad, which is very common on the Samsung machines after 3 to 5 years of use. An easy way to check is you can always push down on the middle, and if the machine is bouncy, if it should be pretty stiff when you push down, but if it's easy and it's bouncy just like that, most likely it's time to replace the rod. If you push down and it's not bouncy, make sure you're loading it properly. You can't do too small of a load, that'll throw it off balance. You can't do too large of a load. You just got to play with it a little bit and make sure you're getting an even load when it goes into spin, that the weight's evenly distributed around each side of the machine. So I'm going to show you how to replace the suspension rods, because that's the symptoms of this machine. Like I said, very common on the Samsungs. Also link some of the rods down in the description if you need to order a set. Just verify that they're the right ones for your model. So we're going to start by, there's two of these little rubber pieces here. You're going to get a knife or a flathead screwdriver or something to that degree, and you're just going to pop these two caps up here. And then the main thing you're going to use for this entire thing is like a flathead screwdriver to do that, and then you're basically just going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, or I prefer a drill or impact. And then we're going to take these two screws out first. Now we're going to go to the back of the machine, and we're going to remove this back panel. So you're going to have Phillips head screws around each corner, and we're just going to go ahead and start removing all those screws. Then I'm going to grab this here, and we're just going to pull this, pop this back panel off, just like that. There's a wire kind of holding it, so just be careful. And then back here, you're going to have two more of those screws holding the top down, just like the ones on the front. Just one on each side. And then we're going to go ahead and pop this top up. So when you're doing this, I like to get as close as possible to the wall, so when you lift it up, we can kind of prop it against. But you do have a couple wires and hoses and things here. Just be super careful. This is where you could have an issue of potentially breaking something. So we're just going to prop this back. So I just did exactly what you're not supposed to do. I pulled up too high on this and I broke this wire, so I will repair that as well. But the best way to do it is if you can have another person kind of just hold this top up just very gently, and try not to break any of these wires or the fill tube or anything like that. A helper is always best, but if you don't, you got to work with what you got. So good news on the Samsungs, the rods are the easiest to replace versus like Whirlpool or something like that, because it all comes out just from the top. So the rods, you got one on each corner, so there's 4 of those, and basically we're just going to reach in here. It's best to wear gloves if you have them, because it is a little greasy. The grease from the rods can get a little sticky. So you're going to reach down, you're going to take it out the top, reach down, and then you're going to slide it over. I'll get you a better close-up of that in a moment. But if you see that little slot down there, you're basically going to slide that over and pull the rod right out, just like that. So here's a little bit of a close-up. The rod sits right down in there, and you're going to basically push it down and then slide it out. As you can see, this rod sitting in, it's a little hard to see, but yeah, you lift it up at the top and then you just pop it out. I'm going to go ahead and grab my replacement rod. I had another set of used rods sitting around we're going to reuse, but you can order them down in the description below. So we're going to slide it in the bottom piece first, just like that. Then we're going to lift up and then set the rod back into place. Now we're going to do that on each corner. The only side that's slightly different is the back. It has this little clip on the rod, and then it also sometimes has the fill tube wrapped around it. So you're going to simply just pop that clip off when you're pulling the rod out. So you can just push up on this clip. So we pop that loose. We're gonna lift up on the rod, slide it out from the bottom, and then we're gonna set that to the side. Now we're gonna get our replacement rod, and then we're gonna slide that in the bottom first, then lift up, put it in place, and then we're gonna put our clip back on. I'm gonna go ahead and complete the other two and then get the top put back on next. So I went ahead and replaced all on each corner. So that's all you'll have to do. Then when you push down the machine, it should be nice and stiff again when you push down. Shouldn't have any bounce to it. And then we're just gonna do the process in reverse and put all of our screws back in. And then your machine should be good to go. And it won't be bouncy or hopefully throw in the unbalanced load code anymore on you. I'm gonna go ahead and put all these screws back. We're gonna put our rubber pieces back in the front here, just like that. Then we're gonna put our screws on the back panel. I actually just left these screws down in here, so that's nice. We can just put them right back. Unless it fell on the floor like that one. And then we're gonna grab this back control panel. Like I said, be careful with the wires like I wasn't earlier. And this kind of clips into place. Pop it like that. And then we're gonna put all our screws back. All right, now you're good to hook the machine back up and it should be good to go. So on this machine, like I said earlier, even if you replace your rods, you still have to make sure your load is balanced. These machines specifically are very, very touchy when it comes to that. But overall, they are decent machines, considering I don't see a lot of other crazy issues come out of these, even though they do have them occasionally. So hopefully this is all you need to do and you're good to go and you can get to washing again.
Hopefully this video helped. If you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below. I will also link the parts. I'm gonna link 2 different sets of rods. Make sure in the description on Amazon, you'll check and make sure that's the exact model for your machine. Thank you for watching, and you guys have a good day.